Hi everybody, my name is Mike, and I believe that everyone can be successful in the stock market if you're willing to put in the work in order to learn how to be successful in the stock market. It's not that complicated. It's not as complicated as Wall Street would have us believe. It does take work, it does take time, it does take effort to learn, but if you put in the work, then you'll have a skill that will last you for the rest of your life and will benefit you and your family and will allow you to lead the life that you want. A strategy that I want to give you today is how or which industry groups should we look at. When we focus on the stocks in the strongest sectors or the strongest industry groups, it gives us the best chance to win because it's putting another positive factor in our favor when we go to trade. Stocks of a feather flock together. It's true for birds, it's true for stocks. And so when we see stocks in a very strong industry group starting to make moves, we want to focus on stocks within that industry group. Another way that we can also see which industry groups are the ones that are heating up aren't just by looking at which industry groups are performing the best, but when we look at our scans and all of a sudden there's a large block of stocks that are coming from a certain industry group, then that tells us that we should investigate that industry group because why all of a sudden are there so many trucking stocks passing our scans? Why all of a sudden are there more oil and gas stocks passing our scans? It's something that we need to go look and check out. A great question came in from one of our subscribers, Eric. Eric writes, "Hi Mike, you are mostly a breakout trader, but a cool topic would be when to recognize the best time to jump in a sector rotation like we have seen recently in transports, retail, and finance." So Eric, here's how I personally like to go about doing that. In order to figure out which industry groups are starting to emerge, I like to see what's passing my scans. And if there's a greater number of stocks from a certain industry group that are passing my scans all of a sudden, it makes me think, why are all these stocks from the trucking group passing? Why are all these stocks from the oil group passing all of a sudden? And then I'll go and I'll check them out. The way that I see that is first by going to my scanner. So let's go to ChartYourTrade.com. I will open up the MRI stock scanner, and this is a scanner that scans for roughly 65 different high growth criteria. It runs all these scans either individually or all together, and then it overlays what I call an ideal growth stock screen. So we have this scanner open. Just click submit to run all the scans, run it with this ideal growth stock screen at 50%. So we get this list of stocks here. But what I want to do is go to this little reports button up here and then open that up. And I'm going to compare this week's results with last week's results and just sort by the number of stocks passing that particular industry group. So we can see at the top here that software and programming has the most number of stocks passing by industry group, right? So no change between this week and last week, so it's at the top of the list, but not as interesting for this purpose. We're more interested in the change from last week to this week. So oil and gas pops up. It's been progressively increasing over the past couple of weeks. And trucking, over here, we could see that trucking had 4 passed this week, only 1 passed last week, and so that's a change of 3, right? Pretty big jump. So that's worth investigating. So then we come back over to our scanner, and then we sort by industry, and I'll go and I'll check out those stocks. So we have 4 stocks that are in the oil and gas space. We have PSX, we have VLO, EC, and ANDV. So let's take a look at each of those. Right, so Phillips, huge breakout, started to break out about 3 weeks ago. So that one was already on the radar, already running. Fantastic move. Valero, similar move. Already a leader, spent some time consolidating. You could see that consolidation right over here, and then breaks out. EC, again, similar kind of action, breaking out. And then ANDV, deep consolidation, and it starts to break out too. When we see stocks within a similar industry group all starting to move, then that gives us a sense of that industry group and how we might want to trade it. At this point, each of the stocks in that oil and gas are extended, so we'd want to keep them on a watch list, and we'd want to see if they develop a secondary entry point for us to get in, and depending on what our time frame is, that entry point might be a little bit different. Then we want to scroll down and take a look at the stocks passing that trucking group, right? So we have Werner, we have Covenant, we have Martin Transport, and we have Schneider National. So let's take a look at those. So Werner, a little bit of deep correction. Looks like it's starting to get support right around this $35 level. Maybe it breaks out of an advanced pivot if you draw a trend line down that way. Maybe it breaks above this level of support, of resistance over here. We just need to sit and wait. So starting to set up. Then we take a look at CVTI, Covenant. And you can see that it formed this base over here, broke out. Now it's starting to tighten up again, and it's starting to form a potential entry point right over here. You actually might have bought it this week, but no, we'll have to see what it does. Then over here, Martin Transport. This one is tightening up as well, right? Been consolidating sideways. Now it's starting to tighten up, starting to break out. Same deal with Schneider. A little deeper of a correction, starting to rally off support, starting to break out of a potential advanced entry point if you drew a descending trend line over there. So basically, all the stocks within the two industry groups that we looked at are all doing relatively the same kinds of moves within their industry group. That doesn't always happen, but it's happening in this case. So that's something that would tell me that maybe there's something going on within the group, and that I may want to focus on the strongest stocks within this group and then try to look for a trade within that group. So it's pretty simple. We run the same scans week after week after week. And as we're running these same scans consistently week after week after week, we see what kinds of stocks are passing. And if different industry groups start passing at a much greater rate, then that's the market telling us that something's going on within that group and that we should be investigating it. It's as simple as that. It takes time. It takes effort to do it. That's why we developed that ChartYourTrade MRI scanner to help automate the process and allow us to do it that much quicker. If you want to test it out yourself, go to ChartYourTrade.com. I'll link it somewhere up here. I'll also link it down in the bottom, and test it out for a month. It's only $19 for the month, and that's it. You're saving yourself several hours of doing this manually, and you get all these kinds of leading stocks and leading ideas. If you like this video, click that thumbs up button. That always helps us out a lot. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that way you get every single update. If you have questions, leave them down below and I will personally help you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care and have a great day.